Lesson number 29 is all about graphs. And in this lesson we're going to look at bar graphs, line graphs, and circle graphs. And we need to be able to interpret those graphs by looking at the data that's represented. Our first problem involves a bar graph, and we can see it's about students' favorite color. Now, our question says how many more students have blue as their favorite color than green? So we can see our x-axis going across horizontally has our colors, and the number of students is on our y-axis going vertically, tells us the number of students that have that color as their favorite. So, how many more have blue than green? If we look at blue, well, we can see it goes across to 15. So, 15 students say that blue is their favorite color. Green, if we look at green, it goes directly across to 10. So we can see that 10 students have green as their favorite color. So how many more students have blue than green as their favorite color? Well, 15 minus 10, that's going to give us our answer. That must be equal to 5. Now, since this is a graph and we've got a word problem, we need a label, so we're going to have 5 students. Make sure you have a label whenever you have a word problem like this. We've got our answer. We got it by looking at the bar graph and interpreting the data, and we can move on to our next question. Here we have a line graph, and the question says, how many 13 and 14-year-old teens have cell phones according to this line graph? So we can see on our horizontal x-axis is the age in years of our teenagers. The number of teens is listed on the y-axis going up and down, and this graph is called small town teens with cell phones. So, if we were to look at this and interpret the data, we need to look at the 13 and 14-year-olds, and we can see for 13-year-olds 229 have cell phones, and for 14-year-olds 273 have cell phones. So the question says how many 13 and 14-year-old teens have cell phones? Well, we're going to have to add together 229 for 13-year-olds plus 273 for our 14-year-olds. 9 plus 3, that's going to give us 12. We carry our 1. We've got 2 plus 1, that's 3, plus 7 gives us 10. We carry our 1. We've got 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. So we've got 502. So, how many 13 and 14-year-old teens have cell phones according to this line graph? 502 teens have cell phones. So just teens would be a good label. Let's go ahead and move on to our next question. Now we have a circle graph, which is also called a pie graph. And circle graphs are good when we want to represent data as percentages. And you can see in this we have the favorite type of movie of different people, and you can see the number is given of how many people like action movies, for instance, that's 5, which is 25% of all the people that were surveyed. So, how many people list comedy or action as their favorite type of movie according to this circle graph? So we need the numbers, not the percentages. We can see for comedy, well, 4 people say comedy is the best, or their favorite type, and 5 people, they say action is their favorite type. So, if we want to look at both of them, how many people list comedy or action as their favorite type of movie? 4 plus 5, that must be equal to 9. So we've got 9 people, and we need a label again. We've got our final answer. We interpret it by looking at the raw data that we were given with our circle graph, not the percentages that tell us out of the whole how many people like that. Lesson practice will be on page 99. Make sure you've got your notes complete, and I'll see you during our next class.